This is the story of my stepfather, Jon Miles, a Vietnam vet and well-known community activist in Tucson, Arizona, who has fought for the rights of the downtrodden his entire life, even as he battles cancer. His activism could be traced back to his experiences in the Vietnam War, when he was drafted into an artillery unit in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. After Vietnam, his labor organizing led to representing blue-collar workers in the mining industry. It led to meeting Cesar Chavez, the leader of the Farm Workers Union, and it even led to being investigated by the FBI. I am Ramon Bannister. My intent here is to document what made my stepfather into the type of man he is today. But in many ways, this is a journey into my own life and discovering who I am.
Previously on the Jon Miles Series.
Basically after that, I really kind of winding down my activity. I would still go to events. So that's basically, kind of where I'm at. In 2016, I had the annual or the semi-annual CAT scan in August. Went in and got it. So right just before Labor Day in August of 2016, I get this call and saying, I want you in for a CAT scan. And I says, I just had a CAT scan a week ago. She says, I know, I want you to get another one. So right away I said, what the hell's going on? And I said, when do you want me to do it? And she said, well, as soon as possible. I said, well, she's like this afternoon. Right away, that kind of, man, this has got to be serious, Then right at Labor Day, that she called me again and said she wanted to set up or after she looked at the film or the CAT scan, that she wanted to do a biopsy on my lung. So then it was like about a week later, she called me and said that there was definitely cancer. I wanted to just back up a little bit, that as it turned out that this lung cancer that I had, it was as a result of exposure to Agent Orange when I was in South Vietnam. So I applied, as soon as I found out I had this cancer, I applied, for disability benefits from the VA. I did that in October of 2016, and they classified me as 100% disabled. I was already getting disability from the VA. So that made life a lot easier because all the extra, not only financial benefits, but all the other benefits that come along with it. So here, this cancer is a result of my military service. So I wanted to make sure that was pretty clear. I had the surgery on December 5th, and I was in the hospital for like a week. I'm not sure how long I was in, and I went through four courses of chemotherapy. And then after that, I had to go through 33, radiation treatments. And that led into June of 2017. And then after that, they found there was fluid. I was having terrible pain in my chest and stomach area. So they did a scan and they found there was fluid between the digestive system and the respiratory system. So they had to take that fluid out. So they drained that fluid out, and it turned out that fluid was malignant. When they found all this stuff, they put me on this immunotherapy. It was called erlotinib, which is a chemo drug that attacks the cancer cell. It's not like other chemo drugs that attack all cells, This specifically focuses on the cancer cell, and what it does, it weakens the cancer cell so that your immune system can fight that cancer cell. It's worked. The cancer hadn't spread anything. They've done MRIs in my brain and found no signs of cancer there. They do this PET scan once every 4 months and no other indication of cancer. So it's worked. So So I'm part of this immunotherapy, one of these miracle drugs they have. And just alluding to what I said when I initially started this segment was, it's through the VA, just to give a credit to the VA that, I mean, I don't know what I would be doing if I was getting civilian health care, but it's top of the line stuff, and I can only imagine the expense that this chemo medicine, would cost in the civilian or private sector. So I really have to say I'm grateful to the Veterans Healthcare Administration and the Veterans Benefit Administration too, and that's why even to this day there's an attempt in Congress to privatize the VA healthcare system as well as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So there's a big fight going on. So I'm part of that fight to save the VA. I have a bumper sticker on the back of my truck that says "Save the VA," and we have demonstrations and public meetings on saving the VA, working with the unions and with other people who are involved, especially people who are receiving Medicare and Social Security, because it is an attack on by the right wing on any social type benefits that we're getting. And we want the VA to continue as it is, being fully funded by Congress, not partially funded like they're doing now, which is why there is problems in the VA, but it's because they're not properly funded.
We began from John's birth in 1941 in Hackensack, New Jersey. He and his twin brother moved to Teaneck, New Jersey, shortly thereafter. He quickly became known to have an adventurous spirit. The mining industry became his passion, along with side jobs doing yard work, until 1965, when he was drafted in the Vietnam War. It was the war that changed his life. Jon obviously suffered a traumatic experience. This 9-part documentary series showed how he dealt with that trauma by advocating for the disenfranchised. He became a lifelong social activist. What's amazing is that even as he battles lung cancer, he continues to fight for the oppressed. Age and sickness hasn't stopped him from inspiring debate, such as my interview with Roy Warden. Furthermore, Jon has begun another struggle to save the VA. All this while he suffers side effects from the strong new generation chemo medication that's keeping him alive. I admire my stepdad for what he did, for always fighting on the front lines, often going against his own fear to protect those who needed protecting. From saving his friend from the river in Vietnam to helping the United Farm Workers Union alongside Cesar Chavez, to being a central figure in the Coalition for Human Rights in Tucson, Arizona, Jon helped to bring peace to our community. And for those efforts, may his legacy continue into the next generation. Thank you for joining me. I'm Ramon Bannister, signing off.